it's Tracy, back with Adventures in Full-Time RVing, and today I'm going to be working from a question someone asked me. What could I not do without, and why? And I guess that was basically asking me what, going from living in a 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom house, whatever it was a big house, to living in a 30-foot and now 36-foot camper, what item or items am I glad I took with me, or did I mess up and not bring with me that I should have? But, it just took a little thinking. My husband and I sat and talked about it for a little while, because really, it was a tough one. It's hard to think what you couldn't do without, or what you're glad you have with you, I guess. But other than my husband, which I couldn't do without, one of the things that I did learn relatively early on that I don't ever want to have to do without again is our electronic tongue jack. And in a few minutes I'll go mobile and show you that. And the reason I would not want to do without it again is because a manual crankshaft to stabilize the front of a tag-along camper, it's a lot of work, and my husband and I are both disabled. The electric tongue jack is such a lifesaver, and it makes setting this thing up so much easier. And there's a few other things that we're going to be getting to make this easier to set up and take down, so that when my son goes away to school, it doesn't take us so long and it doesn't end up causing us so much pain to set it up. But the electric tongue jack would be one of those things. So if you ever are going to go out camping, RVing, full-timing, and you're going to have a tag-along, I highly recommend the electric tongue jack.
Okay, so that's the tongue jack, and that's my electronic tongue jack. And what that means is there's two buttons here. This one is for the front light, and this one makes that down there go up and down, which stabilizes the camper so that it sits stable and holds itself in the right place and all of that good stuff. And that's one of those items that I cannot be without.
Also the AC. I know that sounds really silly, but we generally go camping where it's hot. It's not like, we can live here without heat, really. But to be without the AC is very, very difficult if it's at all possible. You can, but unfortunately it makes it miserably uncomfortable. When you live in a tin can, it's like living in a microwave oven. The sun shines on it, and it's very, very hot.
That's my camper, by the way. And that's where I've been sitting to do the videos for right now, until I get a picnic table out here. And we need to get our ceiling AC fixed, because right now that's the only AC we're living with, because our ceiling AC is not working at the moment.
And I guess for me it would be the laptop. And the reason isn't because I can do this, or that I can get online, or any of that. That I can get online constantly, but it's for the emergencies. For instance, this last time when we broke down, I found the garage that we used, and the campground that we're at, and all of that through online things. I had about 3 hours of battery life on my laptop when we last unplugged it, and I used that for each one of our little emergencies to stop and check where we were, and where we might have to go, and what local things that we could use to get ourselves out of trouble. The laptop is a huge help when you're traveling on the road. And then, of course, it's nice during that downtime, too, to have that connection with other people. So for me, that's the three things that I couldn't do without, and why I wouldn't do without them. I will also give you a little trick that we figured out, actually, that a friend of ours gave to us, for saving a little space in your camper. We were big on movies and DVDs. Before we moved into a camper. So we had a lot of DVDs, and they were all in their own cases, and we were going to build a shelf and stack them up there, but a friend of ours said to us, hey, check this out, this is how you do this. And what she did was she bought one of those big DVD cases, or big CD cases, that holds like 300, and she took all her DVDs out of their cases, and she put them into this big 300 CD case. Now, for us that took 2, but it's a huge help on saving space. So we have these 2 big CD cases full of DVDs as opposed to 300 DVDs sitting all over shelves, walls, whatever, taking up that much space. Space is a big issue in a camper. You have to be very careful to know what you want to take with you, what's important to you. And that's really the answer to the question is what would I not do without and why? Well, it's what would you not do without and why? What's important to you to have with you? I mean, I had over 1,000 books. I had to cut that down. Is that what's important to you? Are there certain books that you have to have with you? Is there certain knickknacks that you can't give up because they're precious and they're heirlooms or they were given to you by somebody? Although I suggest that stuff goes into storage, honestly. I have my mother storing a few things that I couldn't bring with me because I knew better. Is there crafting? Are you a crafter? Is that stuff important? Do you need to have yarn with you? Do you need to have a sewing machine with you? Well, then bring your sewing machine or get a travel one. Bring your craft supplies. You want to have stuff to do because there's a lot of downtime. There is this fun, community stuff going on right now, but there's a lot of downtime when you're full-timing. It's about living either by yourself or with your mate or with your family in a very small space for a very long period of time. And you really get to know each other, and you really better like each other, or you'll get to like each other. And you have to learn how to entertain yourself on a very small budget with a very limited amount of things that you can have in a camper. So that's really what that's all about. You've got to decide what's important to you. For me, full-timing is more about the adventure part of it. Part of it's about meeting these wonderful new communities. Some of it's about me being able to have change every few months, because for me that's important. I'm one of those people that I need change every few months. We looked back over our lives and we realized that even while we were living stable in apartments and stuff, we were still moving every 6 or 8 months because we were getting tired of where we were, and we would come up with some reason why we had to move. So we did. So this is a much better way of life for us. Alright, so I'm going to go mobile. I'm going to show you the laundry mat and the mailboxes here.
So this is the laundry mat. As you can see, there's many washers and dryers, and this place has a bulletin board. For notices and events. And that's the mailboxes, which tells me this place is really okay with full-timers, but they're also really good for snowbirds because they come down for 3 or 4 months, they can have their mail forwarded here. Okay, so here's our front of our main building, and there's the office, and they have a little thing right there for, people who come in overnight. They could pick up the rate sheet and all of that and know what they've got to pay and pick their lot. Because, sometimes people come in the middle of the night. It happens. I don't do it very often if I can help it. Another bulletin board here. And this is one of the bathhouses. And the rec room, which I don't think anybody has got unlocked. Oh, it is unlocked. Let's see if I can get enough of it to show you. I don't know where the light is. Oh, there we go. So that's the rec hall. Okay, let's back out.
We'll get this edited up and make it look nice for you, and I'll try and start working on the questions that you should ask a campground before you move to it. That should be my next video, with any luck, unless I come up with some crazy idea before that. Thanks for joining me on Adventures in RVing.